based on your findings, the report also said 80% of these infractions were parents, motivated. Parents played a big role, and it beats my imagination in the disguise, of trying to give your children the best. Which way to go?
Ruth, it is indeed alarming at a very high scale that parents will go and hire examination experts, they call them, pay them. The payment can go from 250,000 to ₦1 million to go and sit for examination for their children. It is these expert examiners and miracle workers, so-called, that will go the extra length to manipulate technology to ensure that sometimes they are double-bodied. So you find two people going into examination hall. One person is the expert taking the exam. The other one is just the student who is pretending to be taking the exam. This is very frightening. And somebody, again, I made this caveat. I don't work for JAM. I don't speak for JAM. But however, thank God, because we did a benchmarking of JAM technology, comparing it to any other African examination body. We couldn't find one. We had to go to Europe and US. Truly, the system that JAM has put in place beats every examination center in Africa, equals the examination center of Europe and America. Excellent technology deployed by JAM. If not, we wouldn't have been able to uncover these things. So this is not speaking for JAM. I don't speak for JAM. JAM cannot hire me, to be honest with you. So I don't speak for JAM.
Okay.
But I found out that the system in JAM were able to uncover what we found out. There's no way we would have been able to do the work if they didn't have the right system.
So that means, from what you're saying, Mr. Ekpele, the system was not compromised in any way?
No.
These are human factors.
They are technologically driven, human-enabled factors.
Okay.
Avoidable, but they deliberately did it. Let me say this, that I spoke to Professor, I'm going to call name, Professor Yala Peterside from Pennsylvania University. What he told me this afternoon scared me. He said to me, every Nigerian student now in America that wants to get into university or get a job, once they present their certificate, they don't bother trying to make reference to the university they are coming from. They don't trust it. They will subject you to an examination because our certificates is fast becoming toilet paper.
So, Mr. Ekpele, based on your findings, there's also forged credentials, multiple NIN, that is the national identification numbers, and all of that. Based on the report you submitted, has anyone been found culpable? Because if these tutorial centers, CBT centers, are liable to these findings based on your report, why are we not hearing a report of anyone found culpable? Or you tell us if anyone has been found culpable.
Ruth, I've known you for years, and I've known this station. As a matter of fact, I give glory to God for who I am today. And NTA can share in that glory, because NTA is part of the thing that projected my work. You know the truth? This is what we do. Mind you, my background is media. This is what we do. The moment we hear story, oh, JAM did this, oh, this student scored that, we are quick to put a camera on that student and say, oh, this person, so, without going back to JAM to say, please give us the back-end report of this student. That's what happened. You remember the case of the girl? all right?
Yeah.
That's what happened. She came out, doctored the report, claimed what was not true, and then the whole country celebrated her. Shamefully, the parents were there, you know, happy. And I'm not trying to demonize this young girl, all right? She was talked into it, okay? So what happened was that JAMB went back to their back end, pulled her report, and said, no, this girl is not telling the truth. That's what happened. They went begging, oh, please, save her future. I mean, we do. But I think there are provisions in Child Rights Act that is beginning to bring out juvenile offenders and put them where they should belong. You know, because sometimes their parents are not aware. Most times their parents are aware. So the truth is, there are many people that are being prosecuted. The problem is that our journalists don't follow to the end and see where that person will end. So we saw many cases. My committee, we sat down with some of the offenders. We interrogated them. We interviewed them. From my little experience in civil society, that person is an accused. So we treated him with the respect he deserved. And I told the policeman, said, look, treat him with respect until he's prosecuted
and found guilty.
And found guilty. Yeah. All right? He's in custody. There are many people. And let me also say this, you know, boldly. Many big men in this country whose children are responsible for that are the first to call either the police or the investigator, please, you know, one phone call away, the person is released. That's the problem we have. And until this problem is solved, our certificate will become worthless.
You know, Mr. Ekpele, I'd like to look at the technology aspect that you said was humanly motivated. It just shows the brilliancy of people and taking advantage of this AI. Is it supposed to be a blessing in the advancement of our educational system or a curse?
AI is a blessing.
Okay.
I took 600 and something pages of my report, put it through my system, and in minutes, it gave me a summary. What is finger blending? Somebody will ask. Finger blending, we detected finger blending is just fingerprints that were deliberately altered or swapped to allow imposters to sit exam for candidates. That's what your finger, the finger of the person who is going to sit for you, both of them, you know, finger, once you put your finger, the computer will capture it.
For the biometrics?
Yes.
Okay.
If another person puts his finger, the computer will capture it.
Yeah.
So both of them will have access to the examination hall, okay? One person will sit down pretending that he's writing, the other person is writing. Ruth, there are more alarming cases of where a candidate is in the CBT center pretending to be writing exam. The real person who is writing exam has mirrored her system and is in the strong room, in the other room, collaborated by the CBT centers, and is writing the exam, submitting to JAMB, and this person in the CBT centers, okay, that is pretending to be writing the exam is not doing it. Now, more to that, there's more to that, where because JAMB will monitor the CBT centers from their control room, they will take tissue paper and cover the camera.
You don't say.
Oh, yes. They will take tissue papers, cover the camera. Are you talking about some of these young boys who are into this? You know? Go to their account. Many of them have millions, billions. Let me not exaggerate. Millions, hundreds of millions on their account. How? Calculate 250,000 naira by, say, 500 people. I'm not a very good mathematician.
Okay.
So that's the problem we have. Some of them, look, even some universities are not exempted. There's a need to begin to interrogate the certificates that some of the universities are issuing.
Okay. Mr. Ekpele, I'm still curious, so especially knowing these deep findings and why they still thrive. But that will, will continue after the break. Let's take a break. We have to ponder on some thoughts. All right, Mr. Ekpele, let's pick up with the conversation. We're just having a chit-chat behind the scene. Not every parent, and we're just seeing from that report, some parents are standing against it, which is the way to go.
Exactly.
But part of your recommendation, talking about the committee, was the weak legal framework, which you said made regulations a bit difficult. I want you to expatiate on that.
Can I give you three more, and then I'll expatiate on that?
Go ahead, please.
One, there's a need to strengthen technology safeguards, deploying AI-powered biometrics verification with anti-morphing software. Those things are available. Number two, centralized data access to reduce CBT center manipulation. Number three, institutional reform. We need stricter accreditation and periodic audit of this CB. The problem is coming from them. Introduce an independent oversight body for examination monitoring. There's a need for us to begin to think about that, Cultural orientation. National campaign on integrity first in education. There's a need. Most parents don't know. So there's a need to talk about this thing. Parent-teachers engagement on dangers of malpractices. Now, to answer your question, Ruth, legal enforcement actions, establishment of special courts, not tribunal, special courts to ensure there is speedy delivery of judgment for these offenders. Elaborating on security agencies for real-time investigation. Do you know that the legal unit, a small office in JAM, does not have the power to prosecute? The head of that is a doctor, is a PhD in law. When they go to court, they sit down. So JAM will have to hire expensive lawyers to go to court. Now, let me give you an instance. There is a court hearing in Anambra, and the lawyer, JAM will pay ticket, buy hotel, allowance, everything, and the person goes. And the judge will say, oh, I'm not sitting today. That's a total colossal loss. So there's a need for the National Assembly.
I was going to say that.
I'm using this opportunity to call up my friend, the Deputy Speaker, the speakers. There is time for us to sit down and amend the JAM Act.
Yeah.
That does not give them, it doesn't even give them all the legal impetus to prosecute. So there's a need for that act to be amended so that it will give JAM and the legal department in JAM the power to actually administer justice and ensure that all the culprits will not go scot-free. It is alarming what is happening. And I think sometimes I'm tempted to say there's a need to call for a state of emergency in the education sector. It's becoming uncontrollable.
So what about the schools? You talked about the parents-teachers relationship, which is expected to be strengthened, but the schools were part of your report.
Yes, especially
it's
the private schools. Especially the private schools, Ruth. The private schools, in their quest to produce the best result.
It's more like a competition, right?
They actually, some of them, not all of them, some of them gets involved in hiring these expert examination takers. Just to make sure, oh, our school scored the highest in JAM. Excuse me, let's go back to JAM's end and interrogate it. How did you score what you score? Sometimes there's a need to bring back those students and put them in the room and ask them to write the exam by themselves. You'll be amazed.
So part of the recommendation is the Integrity First campaign, which falls on the purview of NOA. Going forward, Mr. Ekpele, where do they begin?
Well, NOA can collaborate. NOA shouldn't do it, period. JAM has the problem. They understand the problem. JAM have experts within them. I think most, probably, JAM has relationship with all the media houses. Look, Ruth, this is not about half hour. JAM half hour. JAM 1 hour. Let's go beyond that. Let there be an advertising agency that will go into the problem, look at public perception, look at how to deal with this issue. Let's create town hall meetings where the likes of Oluyedes and even the Honorable Minister will take questions from people. Let's put more security attention to all these children when they are taking exams. And big men, when your child is caught, allow that child to go through the problem he has caused for himself or herself. You know, there's no point trying to pretend that everything is okay. How will you feel when your child comes home with a certificate that he can't even read his name or her name? How would you feel?
And Mr. Ekpele, you're a strong advocate of inclusion. And the report stated more than 1,800 false disability claim. Which way to go if they have to strengthen this disability verification? You know,
I'm going to explain something a bit technical. The eyes of the persons with albinism has a way of lowering, for instance, if you take a picture of my eyes, oftentimes you will see redness, okay? Even with your camera, yeah, okay. So our iris sometimes gets affected. So certain cameras are not able to capture, so they took advantage of that. That 1,878 numbers you see are not just persons, they are persons with albinism. So albinism was their target, you know? So there are many things that, Ruth, I cannot say here because it borders on national security. But it is concerning. And I know that the president would take this very seriously and do something. You know, the current Minister of Education, I haven't met him. I wrote to him on Friday because I wanted to meet him. He's doing a wonderful job, and I'm sure he will take this up.
All right, Mr. Jake Ekpele, we want to thank you. And I'm sure Nigerians are just expectant in the aspect of transparency, fairness, and equity to thrive in the education system. Thank you for your time on Weekend File.
And let me just make this statement.
Very briefly.
That if we lose the integrity in education, we will lose the foundation of our national future.
All right.
Let's invest in certificate in the place of this rotten certificate that they cannot prove where they got it from.
And not what dreams. All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Ekpele.
Thank you.